There are moments in life when everything around you feels dry, territories where nothing seems to grow, days that feel too heavy, paths that show no way out. And maybe you're walking through one of those moments right now. But there is one truth that needs to enter your spirit before anything else. God chose you to bloom even in the desert. It's not a coincidence that you're here. It's not a coincidence that you're hearing this message right now. The desert is not the end. The desert is not a punishment. The desert is not abandonment. Many times, the desert is exactly where God prepares you, strengthens you, and grows you in ways you would never grow on easy ground. Because it's in the silence that you learn to listen. It's in the scarcity that you learn to trust. It's in the struggle that you learn to stand firm. And it is in the desert that God reveals who you truly are.
And maybe, looking at your life today, you see areas that feel completely dry. Worn out relationships, sleeping dreams, strength at its limit, closed doors, people who let you down, opportunities you lost. Maybe you feel alone on this journey. But listen closely. The desert does not define you. God defines you. And He didn't call you to survive. He called you to bloom. There is a seed inside you that God planted before you were even born. A seed filled with purpose, strength, grace, and promise. And nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop that seed from blooming when God says it's time. Not the lack of resources, not the lack of support, not the pain you carry, not the environment around you. Because when God says bloom, even the desert obeys.
You may not see change yet. You may not feel anything happening, but God works in silence. He is moving pieces you don't see yet. He is preparing paths you haven't discovered. He is arranging encounters, opportunities, and answers that haven't reached you yet, but they will. Because who God chooses, the world cannot cancel. The desert cannot destroy. Pain cannot erase. Time cannot limit. And that's why, today, even without seeing results, even without feeling strong, even without knowing how God will do it, you need to hold this truth in your heart. You are not being forgotten. You are being prepared. The desert is not a place of death when God is there. The desert becomes the ground where He builds your faith, your identity, and your courage. It's there that He transforms your story.
And maybe right now, you're tired of trying, tired of believing, tired of waiting, tired of fighting alone. But the Lord is telling you today, my child, you were never alone. I've always been here. Even on the days you thought about giving up, God was there holding you up. When you cried in secret, He saw. When you felt small, He lifted you. And He didn't just lift you, He chose you. He chose your life to carry a testimony others won't understand. He chose your name to be remembered because of grace, not defeat. He chose your heart to receive things only those who walk through deserts can carry. Because those who bloom in the desert don't bloom by human strength. They bloom because God breathes life where no one else sees possibility. And when God breathes, everything changes. Scars become marks of victory. Closed doors become protection. Delays become deliverance. Setbacks become new beginnings. What once seemed like loss will reveal itself as part of the plan. Nothing is outside the Father's control. Not your pain, not your silence, not your process. God doesn't work only with results. He works with purpose. Today, He wants to remind you of something important. What belongs to you will not be lost in the desert. because the desert has no authority over what God has declared. When God chooses someone to bloom, no difficult season can stop it. No circumstance can block it. No opinion can change it. What God prepares in secret, He reveals at the perfect time. And your time is coming.
Maybe you believed at some point that God abandoned you because things got too hard. But the truth is, when everything seemed lost, He was closer than ever. He was the one who held you when you had no strength. He was the one who protected you from things you don't even know about. He was the one who put light where the enemy tried to place darkness. Nothing escaped the Father's eyes. And now, He's calling you to awaken, to see beyond the moment, beyond the pain, beyond the desert. Because there is a purpose being built inside you. And when God builds something in your heart, no environment can stop it. No circumstance can tear it down. No desert can paralyze it. You carry something far too precious to give up now. You are closer to the promise than you think. The Lord knows the path you've walked. He knows the sleepless nights, the hidden fears, the inner battles no one sees. He knows the times you smiled on the outside but felt broken inside. He knows the painful losses, the silent doubts, the difficult decisions. And still, He chose you. Not because of your strength, but because of His grace. Not because of your ability, but because of His love. And it's that love that sustains you today. That love that calls you forward. That love that protects you from what you don't understand. That love that guides you even when you feel like you're walking blind. God is already working behind the scenes of your life. He is bringing life to places that felt dry. He is preparing a future where flowers will grow where there used to be dust. You are not a product of chance. You are a product of divine choice.
So even if everything feels hard right now, take a deep breath. There is hope for you. There is renewal. There is restoration. Something new is being born in your spirit. You're walking through a phase, not a destination, and phases pass. Deserts end, but the promise remains. The God who chose you does not change His mind. He will fulfill everything He declared over your life. You are about to bloom in places that once wounded you. And maybe a part of you still wonders, but why would God allow me to go through all this? The answer doesn't always come right away, but one truth remains. Great purposes are born through great processes. God does not waste pain. He does not waste tears. He does not waste silence. Every step, even the hardest ones, is connected to something greater He is preparing. What you're living today is shaping who you'll become tomorrow. And when you look back, you'll see that nothing was in vain. The moments you thought you were alone were the very moments God carried you. The doors that closed protected you from places that weren't meant for you. The people who left made room for those who will take you to the next level. God was always in control, even when you didn't understand. That's why you're hearing this message today. Because God wants to restore your hope. He wants to reignite your faith. He wants to remind you of your worth. You are not ordinary. You are chosen. Chosen to live what only those who walk through deserts can carry. Because those who bloom after dryness develop deep, unshakable roots. Roots that nothing can pull out.
And even if you don't see flowers yet, there is life already rising inside you. Transformation is happening even if you don't feel it. God doesn't need visible signs to act. He works first in the invisible, in the heart, in the soul, in the secret place. There, He heals, molds, lifts, and strengthens you. And when you least expect it, what He's been building in secret will be seen by everyone. So don't give up. Don't let the environment convince you that you won't make it. Don't let the lack of results make you doubt the process. Don't let the silence make you believe God forgot you. He did not. On the contrary, He is working so deeply that you will be astonished. The desert that seemed to drain you is actually preparing you to bloom like never before.
And do you know why God trusts you with such intense processes? Because He knows there's more strength inside you than you realize. He knows the courage you haven't discovered yet, the faith you haven't noticed, the power He placed in you before you were even born. God knows every detail about you, your weaknesses, your fears, your limitations. And even so, He chose you. And that means something profound. It means that even when you don't believe in yourself, God believes in you. Even when you feel like you have no strength left, God sees potential. Even when you feel small, He sees greatness. And He doesn't just see where you are, He sees where you're going. While you see desert, God sees flowers. While you feel pain, God sees healing unfolding. While you face dryness, God sees your roots growing deeper. Because that's how God works. He builds in the hidden to reveal in the appointed time. He strengthens in silence to manifest in glory. He prepares in the desert to exult in the promise. And He's doing exactly that with you. Something is being shaped right now. Something that will transform not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. You are being prepared to carry light where there once was darkness. And that light doesn't come from human strength, but from God's presence in you. A presence that never left you, even on the days you thought you were alone. A presence that walked with you through every loss, every fall, every tear. A presence that lifted you from places you thought you'd never escape. A presence that continues guiding your steps even when you don't understand the path.
And as you walk, God is clearing your spiritual vision. He's teaching you to see beyond pain, beyond fear, beyond uncertainty. He's showing you that what looks like the end is actually the beginning of something far greater. You didn't enter the desert to die. You entered to be reborn. You didn't enter to be weakened. You entered to be strengthened. And when this season ends, people won't even recognize the strength you will carry. And maybe you're wondering how much longer this desert will last. But the truth is, the length of the desert is not defined by suffering. It's defined by purpose. God doesn't extend what hurts. He extends what builds. And He keeps you only where He's molding you. When He finishes the work, He moves you. He guides you into a new environment, a new season, a new chapter that is already prepared. And that new chapter will be different, not because your circumstances will be perfect, but because you will be different. You'll be stronger, more sensitive to God's voice, more aware of your worth, more anchored in faith. What used to shake you won't break you anymore. What used to hold you back won't have power over you. What used to wound you won't reach your heart again. The desert is healing you in deep places. And when God heals, He heals completely. He heals the soul, the mind, the memories, the expectations. He doesn't just restore what you lost. He gives you back more, stronger, deeper, better. That's why so much around you seemed to fall apart. It wasn't to destroy you. It was to rebuild you the right way. God doesn't rebuild on ruins. He rebuilds on faith. And He is raising something inside you that cannot be shaken. And maybe you're still waiting for a sign, a confirmation, a clear answer. Well, here it is.
You are not alone in the desert, and God is not finished with you. Every step is being guided by Him. Every detail is being taken care of. He forgets no promise. He leaves nothing incomplete. He never abandons what He starts. And He began something in you that will have eternal impact. So breathe. Calm your heart. Do not fear what is happening now. God is guiding you with steady hands. He is opening paths you cannot see yet. He is preparing deliverance you haven't noticed. He is creating opportunities you haven't imagined. You were chosen to bloom. And when God decrees blooming, even the desert becomes a garden. And when God turns a desert into a garden, nothing stays the same. What once hurt you becomes testimony. What once paralyzed you becomes strength. What once confused you becomes direction. God specializes in taking impossible scenarios and creating miracles where no one expected any. And He's doing that right now, even if you can't see it yet. The process is invisible before it becomes visible. And while He works, He calls you to rest. Not to give up, to rest. There is a huge difference. Giving up is letting go. Resting is surrendering to God. Giving up is losing hope. Resting is trusting that He's in control. And sometimes, resting is the greatest act of faith you can take. Because when you rest in God, you declare that you trust what He's doing, even without understanding.
And that kind of faith moves the heart of God. A faith that doesn't depend on results, but depends on His presence. A faith that doesn't demand explanations, but leans on trust. A faith that crosses deserts without losing sight of the promise ahead. And that faith is growing inside you. Not the faith of someone who never faced anything, but the faith of someone who faced much and is still standing. That faith is precious. And understand this, God did not choose you by accident. He doesn't choose perfect, capable, ready, or strong people. He chooses available hearts. He chooses people who, even wounded, still want to walk. People who, even tired, still try to believe. People who, even broken, still carry a small thread of hope. And that thread, God takes it and turns it into something extraordinary. Because God doesn't need much to start a miracle. He needs a willing heart. And your heart, even hurt, is still willing. It still wants to believe. It still wants to live what God promised. So don't let the pain of the present steal the beauty of the future. Don't let the season deceive you. Deserts are temporary. The promise is eternal. And you are part of a story God is writing with love. And when God writes a story, no chapter is wasted. Even the ones you wish you could erase have purpose. The falls taught you. The losses strengthened you. The tears purified you. The pain matured you. Nothing was in vain. Everything is shaping who you're becoming. Someone stronger, wiser, more sensitive, more dependent on God. That is blooming too, growing on the inside before you bloom on the outside.
And the truth is, many people only notice the external blooming, the victory, the blessing, the miracle. But God sees the internal process no one sees. He sees when you choose to continue, even tired. He sees when you fight thoughts meant to pull you down. He sees when you cling to faith, even when you feel nothing. Those hidden moments, they touch God's heart the most. And that's why He is so close to you right now, closer than you imagine. His presence doesn't depend on your feelings, it depends on His promise. And He promised to never leave you, never forsake you, never give up on you. Even when you want to give up, God stays. Even when you step back, He waits for you. Even when you doubt, He continues believing in what He planted inside you. And what He planted will bloom. Maybe not at the time you expected, maybe not in the way you planned, but it will. Because God never plants without intention. He doesn't deposit gifts dreams, and promises in someone to let them die on the journey. He invests in you because he sees future. He sees capacity. He sees purpose. He sees what you still cannot see. And he is guiding you step by step toward that place. And when you get there, you will understand every detail. You'll look back and realize why you had to go through what you went through. You'll see that God protected you when you wanted to move ahead. You'll see that he held you when you wanted to run. You'll see that he strengthened you when you wanted to give up. Every piece will fit. Every answer will make sense. And you'll realize the desert was only the way, not the destination.
And when you understand that the desert was not loss, but preparation, something inside you will awaken. You will realize you have become far stronger than you imagined. You will see that the pain did not destroy you, it refined you. You will see that the silence did not weaken you, it taught you to hear God's voice. You will see that waiting did not paralyze you, it taught you to trust. Everything cooperated to shape who you are. And this new version of you, more mature, more sensitive to the Spirit, firmer in faith, is exactly the version God needed for the next chapter. What lies ahead requires deep roots. It requires trust. It requires courage. It requires a faith that does not depend on circumstances, but on the promise. And that is what you are developing now. The desert did not come to break you. It came to strengthen you. And it is working. And even if there are still hard days, know that they do not cancel what God is doing. Difficulties do not cancel promises. Delays do not cancel destinies. Struggles do not cancel callings. On the contrary, often it is the most difficult days that reveal what God is already building inside you. You are carrying something that will shine when the appointed time arrives, and that time is closer than you think. When God decides it's time to bloom, nothing can stop it. He will open doors no one can close. He will bring connections that make sense. He will restore what you thought was lost. He will bring answers you have been waiting for, maybe for years. Because when God chooses to act, he acts so clearly that even the enemy must step back. To bloom in the desert is the kind of miracle only God can do. And that miracle is already at work in your life. Maybe silent, maybe unseen, maybe slow by your measure, but it is happening. God has started the process. He has begun to transform. He has begun to align. He has begun to prepare. What he is doing now will be revealed step by step with beauty, with gentleness, with purpose. You will see that everything was moving toward this moment. And when you realize this, your heart will fill with hope again. Not a fragile hope that depends on what you see, but a steadfast hope born from trust in the God who tends every detail. You will feel a peace inside that makes no sense to those who only look from the outside. A peace that does not depend on the scene, but on the presence. A peace that whispers in your soul, I am with you. And that peace will be the first bloom. Before any external miracle, you will see a new perspective, a new faith, a new strength rising inside you. God begins within. He always begins in the heart. What is born from within cannot be taken away. What is born from within does not depend on the world, on people, or on circumstances. What is born from within is sustained by Him, and He is already germinating something new in you. While He works on your inside, He is also arranging everything around you. God never works in one corner only. He works in the whole. He is aligning people, opportunities, and paths. He is creating connections you don't yet know. He is preparing environments where you will be welcomed, honored, and recognized. None of this may be visible now, but it is happening behind the scenes of your life.
When the exact moment comes, everything will begin to fit together with a naturalness that only God can bring. What seems stuck will flow. What seemed distant will draw near. What seemed lost will be restored. What seemed impossible will finally happen. Because the God who chose you to bloom did not choose by mistake. He chose you because he saw in you the perfect ground for a miracle. And that miracle will not be small. It will not be discreet. It will not be ordinary. It will be something that shows the world God's care for you. Something that will make others see that the desert did not destroy you, it revealed you. It did not extinguish your light, it made it shine brighter. It did not wound you, it strengthened you. What God will do in your life will prove that blooming in the desert is real, and you will be living proof. As this blooming unfolds, you will understand that nothing was wasted. Every tear watered a part of your soul. Every weight forged patience. Every pain molded character. Every silent prayer built intimacy with God. What looked like loss was actually building depth. What looked like delay was strengthening your roots. And now, those roots begin to sustain God's new. When your roots are deep, the wind cannot knock you down. Opinions cannot paralyze you. Fear cannot control you. Doubt cannot invade you like before. You begin to walk firmly, not because everything is easy, but because you discovered that God is with you every step. This changes everything. It gives you courage to continue. It gives you strength to face. It gives you peace to rest.
And this peace is the environment where God works most freely. When you let go of control, he takes over. When you rest, he moves. When you surrender, he transforms. God never asked you to carry everything alone. He asked you to trust. And trust is not passivity. It is active faith. It is saying with your heart, Lord, I don't see the way out, but I know you are at work. And God is at work. He is moving situations that seemed immovable. He is breaking chains that bound you. He is undoing knots time created. He is dismantling traps you did not even know existed. God is detail-oriented. He goes where you cannot go. He reaches people you cannot reach. He changes realities you cannot touch. He does it because he is Father, and a father cares. And he is caring for you right now. Your heart, your emotions, your thoughts. He is caring for what concerns you, what you fear, what you don't know how to fix. Nothing is beyond his reach. Nothing is too lost. Nothing is too broken. Nothing is too far. When God decides to restore, he does it fully. He rebuilds with excellence. And when God restores, he does not return things the same way. He returns them better, stronger, more aligned with purpose. He does not patch, he transforms. He does not merely restore, he makes new. He does not just recompose what was lost, he creates something even more beautiful in its place.
And that beauty is beginning to appear inside you now. A beauty born not from the absence of struggles, but from overcoming them. A beauty that does not come from an easy path, but from a path walked with God. A beauty born of faith, endurance, and surrender. The glow you carry does not come from the world, it comes from heaven. And that glow announces that blooming is near, very near. As that glow increases, you will notice you are no longer the same. Things that used to shake you no longer move you as they once did. Words that once hurt no longer hold the same power. Circumstances that once bound you no longer control you. God is freeing you from the inside out. Day by day, he removes a weight, heals a wound, restores an area, rekindles hope. And with this freedom, you begin to see the desert with different eyes. Not as an end, but as a beginning. Not as loss, but as transformation. Not as abandonment, but as an encounter with God.
Because in the desert, you learn that God is all you need. And when He is everything, the desert ceases to be a threat and becomes the stage for a miracle. That miracle is being prepared. You may not see it yet, but it is on the way. A path God has already traced, aligned, and blessed. Nothing will prevent what He is about to reveal. Nothing can block what He has determined. Nothing can stop the blooming He has already begun in you. God chose you to bloom, and not even the desert can stop it.
And as this blooming draws near, God invites you to take an important step, to trust what He is doing, even when it doesn't make sense, to trust when everything seems still, to trust when the silence feels heavy, to trust when your heart begins to doubt. Because faith is not built on easy days, it is proven on hard days. And you have shown that even wounded, you still choose to believe. That honors the heart of God. And He tells you today, I am here. I never left your side. Even when fear paralyzed you, He stayed. Even when anxiety tightened your chest, He held you. Even when you couldn't pray, He listened. God's love for you does not depend on your strength. It depends on His faithfulness. And He is faithful. Faithful to guard you, sustain you, lift you, and lead you until every promise is fulfilled. So don't look at the desert as if it were the end. See it as the place where God is preparing you for something human eyes cannot measure. You will bloom, not because everything is easy, but because God is with you. Not because the environment helps, but because His presence sustains you. Not because you deserve it, but because He chose you. And when God chooses, He equips, strengthens, and honors. So hold this truth in your heart. The desert is not your home. It is only the path that leads you to the promise. What God is preparing is bigger than your pain, deeper than your fear, and more beautiful than any loss. You are not being defeated. You are being shaped. You are not being weakened. You are being strengthened. And the blooming that is coming will be so intense that even you will be surprised. We close this moment with hope, with faith, and with the certainty that God is working. Take a deep breath and let this truth settle in your soul. You were chosen. You are being prepared, and you will bloom even in the desert. This journey God is shaping within you is only beginning. The best is still ahead. Now that you understand the desert is not an ending but a process, God begins to transform not only the environment around you, but also the way you see yourself. Many times, the greatest challenge is not believing that God can, but believing that God can in you. And here, He begins to reveal something precious. You are not too small for His plans. His plans are simply too great for who you used to be. In this new season, God invites you to look deeper within. He shows you hidden strengths, sleeping gifts, dreams you stored away out of fear. He begins awakening the parts of you that pain, shame, or frustration once silenced. But now, under His care, those places begin to come alive with purpose. And when God awakens something inside you, remaining the same becomes impossible. Your thoughts begin to shift, your posture changes, your choices start reflecting a new identity. You realize you are no longer trying to survive the desert, you are crossing it with direction. There is a huge difference. Survivors look back, those who cross look forward. And God is teaching you to look ahead.
As you move forward, God begins aligning your spiritual vision. He shows you that no matter how much the world tried to weaken you, what He placed inside you is greater. Your faith is not fragile, it was just tired. Your heart is not weak, it was just wounded. Now God is renewing you from the inside out, removing weights you carried for far too long. In this renewal, He also reveals that every pain you felt had a purpose, not to wound you, but to reveal you. Your battles taught you not to depend on applause, but on presence, not to seek security in people, but in God, not to demand all the answers, but to walk with the one who is the answer. And as you walk with Him, you begin to see that you are not merely going through a hard season, you are being prepared for something great. God is giving you wisdom, spiritual sensitivity, and emotional strength. He is aligning your inner world so that when the season of blooming arrives, you will live it with balance, maturity, and depth. Nothing here is random. It is divine construction. And as He builds this new version of you, He invites you to release what no longer belongs to your next season. There are weights that do not match who you are becoming. There are people who no longer walk in the same direction. There are habits that no longer nourish your faith. God is asking you to let go, not out of loss, but out of protection. He knows where you are going.
Because here is the truth. What lies ahead is greater than what was left behind. God didn't bring you this far to repeat cycles. He brought you here to break them. He wants you to move forward light, prepared, focused, and full of hope. The middle of the journey is where roots deepen and where you begin to realize that blooming will not simply be an event. It will be a testimony that marks your whole life. God is working on your identity, your heart, and your purpose. You are not merely walking, you are being shaped. Not merely surviving, you are being strengthened. Not merely waiting, you are being prepared. And what He is preparing is extraordinary. Take a deep breath. Blooming is drawing near. As you continue walking this journey with God, something begins to grow clearer inside you. There is a destiny being prepared for you, and it is bigger than any desert you have crossed. Nothing you lived was wasted. Every detail, every pain, every silence built something precious within you. You are being led into a season of blooming, honor, and restoration that is already on its way. And in this moment, God calls you to lift your head. He wants you to recognize how much you've changed, how much you've grown, how deeply He has strengthened you. You are no longer the broken person who stepped into that difficult season. Now there is stability, maturity, and faith refined by the fire of experience. What lies ahead requires this new version of you, and God has prepared you exactly for it. What is coming will be greater than your expectations. Doors that once seemed locked will open. Opportunities you thought were impossible will appear. Paths you never imagined will be revealed. When God chooses to act, He acts so clearly and so precisely that no one will doubt it was Him. The blooming that is coming won't be small. It will be a sign of how deeply God loves you. And when these changes begin unfolding, remember this: it wasn't your strength that sustained you, it was God. He stood beside you on the heaviest days, when your soul felt too tired to continue. He guided you when you couldn't see what was ahead. He strengthened you when you felt like you would fall apart. Everything that is about to happen will be the fruit of His faithfulness to your life. You are someone chosen by God, not because of perfection, but because of purpose. He saw value in you when you doubted yourself. He saw beauty when all you saw were wounds. He saw potential when all you saw were limitations. And now He confirms, I will make you bloom. Receive it, embrace it, declare it. What God promised cannot be frustrated by anything or anyone. When you believe before you see, something shifts in the spiritual realm. Faith opens doors that fear closes. Faith attracts the impossible. Faith positions you to live promises. You are not meant to remain where pain left you. You are meant to move forward into what God has called you to. Nothing from your past has the power to stop what He has already decided to fulfill in your life. You were born to bloom. And as God leads you into this new season, He reminds you, everything you lived was preparation. The desert did not destroy you, it transformed you. It did not weaken you, it strengthened you. It did not delay you, it refined you. Now you are ready to receive what He has prepared. Walk in faith because the best is still ahead. God is aligning every detail, and nothing can stop what He has determined for you. Before you go, take a simple step of faith. Declare these words with your heart. I will bloom because God chose me. Let this declaration seal what God is doing inside you. It is more than a sentence. It is a prophecy spoken over your life. Speak it with conviction and let this truth sink deeply into your spirit. You are stepping into a new season. And if this message touched your heart, remember to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this today. These simple actions help this word reach more people who also need to bloom. May God bless you abundantly, and may you never forget, when God chooses someone, even the desert becomes a garden.